is reporting once again with another breaking news article about cyberbullying, and I am your news anchor, Jeanette Espinosa. The next breaking news article we have today is Cyberbullying, a new social menace written by these authors displayed here and reviewed by the Department of Psychological Medicine. Cyberbullying has been an ongoing issue since the start of the internet and has been gaining prevalence in the past few years with the increase of social media usage. Cyberbullying is a form of bullying using the internet, for example, online chats or media. It affects the victim's emotional and physical well-being. How is cyberbullying defined versus traditional bullying? Although it may seem that cyberbullying and traditional bullying may go hand in hand, which in some cases it may, there are some major differences between cyberbullying and traditional bullying. Cyberbullying allows the bully to take refuge behind a screen, allowing them to not be easily identified, and with the rapid pace of the internet, it allows information to spread much more rapidly and makes it much more difficult to remove. There is a higher prevalence rate in cyberbullying versus traditional bullying now in age because of how involved the internet has become in our lives. And there's also a belief that cyberbullying is less severe than traditional bullying by peers, and due to this, it is linked to a strong ideation of suicide. What are some of the risk factors and motivations for cyberbullying? A list is provided in the article detailing the top risk factors and motivations for cyberbullying regardless of the role. The list is as follows: a positive association with perpetration, a non-supportive school environment, partaking in risky behaviors online, having narcissistic exploitive tendencies, spending a longer time on the internet than the average, the perception of the person of their peers behaving in similar manner, a positive association with victimization, or poor body image primarily for girls, obesity, and a non-heteronormative identified youth. Other risk factors mentioned are beliefs about aggression, parenting factors and styles, normative beliefs about aggression, exposure to violence online, lower empathetic responsiveness, anonymity, and disinhibition. It is important for us to be aware of these risks and possible motivations to prevent cyberbullying from occurring and act quickly in case it does occur. What is the impact of cyberbullying? Cyberbullying can have a major negative effect on the victim's mental and physical health that many do not even realize. It can cause the victim to struggle emotionally with constant feelings of worry, fear, sadness, and anger that may even bleed into their future lives. Cyberbullying is linked to an increased rate of depression, stress, and suicidal ideations, and can lead to lower performance or focus in schools and at home. Some physical symptoms may even be noted with relation to the stress experienced by the victim, such as headaches, and primarily weighs towards females in particular. The impact of cyberbullying usually depends on the severity of the cyberbullying itself. How can we prevent and what can we do for intervention to cyberbullying? Cyberbullying is most common amongst students of all ages, between elementary all the way until college. Because of this, social and coping skills should be taught between this time period, and teaching the consequences of cyberbullying and creating awareness of the impact, as well as changing norms and social beliefs in education, allows for cyberbullying to not be accepted as such and create a more healthy environment for those around them online. Positive social norms promote positive mindset and behaviors. Therefore, implementing and promoting positive online interactions in education and monitoring online use at school and within the household may help in the prevention of cyberbullying. How do gender and age play a role in cyberbullying? In the ages of early childhood until the ages of 12 is when students are most likely to report any kind of cyberbullying, with an uptick seen at around 5th or 6th grade, where they begin to explore the internet and use social media much more. Cyberbullying usually reaches its peak in adolescence, with most reports falling between the ages of 12 to 16. It should also be noted that females tend to be victims more than males statistically. However, females also tend to be perpetrators more than males as well. Males usually use more direct approaches to bullying, but females usually use more indirect aggressions in bullying. By adulthood, however, cyberbullying is not as prevalent as it was in adolescence, and adults tend to be more willing to report cyberbullying than both age groups. Ultimately, cyberbullying is an ongoing severe issue within our current world that affects almost every age group. With proper education in the effects, encouragement to report negative behavior, and practicing online internet safety, we can combat the rates of cyberbullying and hopefully create a safe and welcome space online. I will now.
Good morning. This is CCN News, and I am your news anchor, Ashley Muncor. Today, we have a breaking news article of the nature of cyberbullying and strategies for prevention by the authors Robert Schlang, Peter K. Smith, and Anne Frinson. As our lives slowly shift towards becoming more integrated online into social media and social hubs, the social space has become more and more complicated with the introduction of new ways to communicate amongst peers and connecting people across the world. Unfortunately, this has led to a major increase in a new form of online abuse known as cyberbullying. Cyberbullying, as defined by Peter K. Smith, is an aggressive act or behavior that is carried out by a group or an individual using electronic devices to attack their victim over an extended period of time. In this article, the authors call attention to the types of cyberbullying that exist, how age and gender play a role in cyberbullying, the sequence of events in which cyberbullying occurs, the difference between cyberbullying and traditional bullying, and coping strategies alongside prevention and intervention. Two key issues that make cyberbullying difficult to define will be repetition and power imbalance. Repetition leads to the question of, if this post or image is carried out by others, is this still cyberbullying? A single picture can be sent out or uploaded to the internet, and later it can be distributed by other people. The perpetrator may have done a single action, but it can be experienced many times by the victim. Meanwhile, a person can take refuge behind a digital screen through being anonymous, and the knowledge of the internet can hold a great amount of power over the victim. This is where a power imbalance may occur between the victim and the perpetrator. Research has suggested that since material exists in cyberspace, it is harder to remove or avoid it, making the victim feel powerless. Research has shown that there are two main types of cyberbullying: through the internet, such as websites and photos, and through mobile phones, such as calls and text. However, in recent years, smartphones have been integrating with the internet, causing these boundaries to blur. The most common form of behavior reported by victims in cyberbullying is harassment and threatening messages, followed by making jokes, and lastly, rumor spreading. So, how does age group and cyberbullying relate to each other? Many studies have shown that cyberbullying peaks in 7th and 8th grade, and involvement in cyberbullying will continue throughout adult life, but it does not decrease after older adolescence. Cyberbullying can have greater involvement in females than males. Gender differences remain inconsistent across studies because of different samples, definitions, and historical changes. How does cyberbullying also overlap with traditional bullying? Studies have concluded that being bullied online may be seen as a two-way interaction where children bully each other and are bullied themselves. This has been seen increasingly amongst females. Very little is known about the sequence of events that can lead to cyberbullying. It is suggested that some cyberbullies may be a traditional victim who cannot retaliate face-to-face, so the internet is used as a form of projection. Are there any major differences between cyberbullying and traditional bullying? Yes. Well, cyberbullying, for one, requires a level of technical expertise. It is primarily indirect rather than face-to-face and is usually anonymous. The perpetrator does not usually see the victim's reaction. And lastly, the perpetrator can view the lack of status gained by showing the abusive power of others in front of witnesses. Well, what emotions usually accompany victims of cyberbullying? Victims of cyberbullying usually express emotions of anger, sadness, frustration, embarrassment, stress, fear, loneliness, and depression. These emotions have a greater impact on the victim for self-harm and suicidal thoughts. Mobile phone victims feel more worried, had higher levels of fear, and struggle with the feeling of feeling defenseless, depression, compared to those being bullied on the internet. Well, why do people bully others? Motives can vary. Internal reasons such as revenge, boredom, jealousy, trying out a new personality, or redirecting feelings externally to others, which can have less severe consequences than hurting a loved one. What are the impacts it can have on the victim? A larger invisible audience size can mean that the victim feels greater shame and embarrassment. A positive aspect of this could be that since the audience is so large, the victim has more access to help and resources. This will allow them to feel less lonely because it is easier for them to be able to find others who are willing to help them and be more empathetic towards the situation. A few student coping strategies. Victims can find coping strategies such as blocking certain people, changing passcodes, usernames, or email addresses, and deleting anonymous text messages without reading them. School may also help in preventing cyberbullying through successful programs such as whole school anti-bullying policies, awareness campaigns, and curriculum-based discussions on what cyberbullying is and how it affects us. Despite cyberbullying taking place online, the consequences on the victim as well as the perpetrator are very real. And it is important to spread awareness in regard to what it is, what to do to counteract it, and how it may influence those around them. Taking part in important and exciting programs of internet literacy and safety can help minimize the abuse of new technology and make sure that the cyberspace is primarily a happy and safe space for relationships and sharing.
Personally, I think females would experience cyberbullying. I think the reason would be because bullying is seen like as a sign of weakness, and from young ages, society tells men that they can't be weak, they can't be pushed around. So I think that just leaves women with the rest of the cyberbullying to experience, just because males aren't experiencing that.
All right, folks. Today we are here with
Dara.
Excellent. And you are a student at Indian River State College. Excellent. And what's your major?
Political science.
All right, awesome. So today we are studying the effects of cyberbullying. And one question that we have today is between the males and females, what gender do you believe experience the most cyberbullying and why?
I think women. So always see in social media like the pressure women have to like be perfect. Like sometimes I'll go on TikTok or Instagram and like I see comments like, oh, she's gaining weight, like pressure to be.
And another question that we have today, what roles should parents and guardians play in preventing cyberbullying?
I think should be more present in the lives of the children. See what they're seeing on the internet. And what are they uploading.
All right, well, thank you all. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, today I am here with...
Yvonne Pimentel.
So, as a teacher, you may have noticed cyberbullying across the school over time. Between males and females, which gender do you believe has experienced the most amount of cyberbullying? And do you think there is a certain reason behind it?
The girls. The girls are more likely to suffer for cyberbullying, and the reason is because they are more active at social media.
Have you been an observer of cyberbullying in school? And if so, have you taken any steps to de-escalate the situation?
Yes. Most of the times it's the girls, and most of the cases it's when they have issues between girls, and what they do is they attack each other through the social media.
Have you noticed any effects of cyberbullying in between the kids in the school, and have you taken any measures to sort of stop the effects from worsening, or?
The effects that I see the most is their self-esteem. I see like a lot of them they get anxiety, depression, and all the consequences is the way that they have the relationship with her peers. And what we used to do is that we refer to the guidance counselor. And also during guidance with the lesson plans, what they do is they always talk and have those conversations with the girls about be nice to each other, kind to each other, and the empathy, which is the most important between the students at this point.
And just a final question. Do you believe parents and teachers should play more of a bigger role in preventing cyberbullying?
It is. In a school, we try to do our best to prevent. However, most of the cases that we have in the school is not happening in the school. We have to resolve the issues in the school because the kids, of course, that is going to affect their performance in the classrooms. But I think that the parents are the ones who have the most in this situation to prevent this situation, because it's outside the school, at the house, where the kids spend more time on the phone. So the parents needs to be aware about what websites the kids are using and what they are posting online. And it's also very beneficial when the parents check their kids' social media.
Okay, that is all. Thank you very much.